Hello and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast, Not Another Sports Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon. Me and my co-hosts, Kevin and Jordan.
Yo, what's up? This is Kevin.
Yes, sir, and this is Jordan.
Yes, sir. And as always, we're going to kick it off with something positive here. If you take a look around the set, you'll notice it's a very green room. September is Spinal Cord Awareness Month. Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. And the color is lime green. So this episode, that's what we're taking awareness for. And if you want to donate or just learn more about spinal cord injuries, you can go to unitedspinal.org/give to donate, or you can just learn more about spinal cord injuries. And that's my something positive for this week. So what do y'all have for this week?
Yes, sir. I'm here. I'm alive.
Yeah, as always, we always shout that out. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Just the fact that I went through a whole week after that last week. It was just a very fun week, just reminiscing on going to the Alabama game. Not really. What's it called? Let's start it over.
No. You talking on the back of the mic, you're still straight. He said, let's start over. You still heard it, just like it's good.
You can say you're something positive again. How about that?
No, we can just run it over.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast, Not Another Sports Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon. Here with my co-hosts, Kevin and Jordan.
Yo, what's up? This is Kevin.
Yeah, and this is Jordan.
And if you take a quick notice around the set, you'll notice that it's a very green room. September is Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month, and the color for Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month is green. As a person who has a spinal cord injury, this is our month to take awareness to this. And if you want to learn more about spinal cord injuries, you can go to unitedspinal.org. And if you want to donate, unitedspinal.org/give. And that's my something positive for this week. What y'all got?
I'm here. I'm alive.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Just the fact that the Braves are still in first place. We making it through another week. I'm here in the studio, back at it. You can hear me clearly and audibly. We made it. And we wearing green. Shout out to us.
Yes, sir. Man, I had to
green
put on green.
Okay,
No, I got green on. Look, I got
green on.
this my new jacket.
Okay.
I want y'all to see. Anyway, we're going to move on to our weekly recap. Today is Saturday, so Thursday night, the Panthers and the Texans played. Christian McCaffrey got hurt. That's tragic. It's ironic. Pat McAfee was just talking about it Thursday before the game, how you don't understand how somebody can take on these big collisions and not get hurt. He jinxed it, but you can tell the way he plays, it was kind of bound to happen. I mean, he plays at full speed. He doesn't shy away from contact, so that's when injuries happen. And being a running back, that's part of it. So, I mean, we're going to kind of allude to this later. I mean, this is kind of alluding to what we're going to talk about later in Genius or BS. But I think Adam Gase kind of breaks players because Sam Darnold has looked a lot better since he's gotten out of that system. But we're going to talk about that later. How y'all feel about the Panthers and the Texans game?
It was cool. I don't know what we did Thursday, but I didn't watch the game. I wasn't really interested in it. None of my fantasy players played. But it doesn't really surprise me that Christian McCaffrey got hurt. He did it last year and ruined my season. So that doesn't really – it's not a shocker. What else? The Texans are still trash. They should go ahead and free my boy Deshaun. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Didn't Tyrod Taylor get hurt too?
He did.
Tragic.
Nope. The Texans and I just forgot who it's on.
The Texans and the Panthers.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey went down with a hamstring though. He really didn't get hit on the play.
I'm
He
just
was
saying.
running.
He
I know.
always get hurt.
Yes, I was about to say. Now this is concerning and alarming for the Panthers because this showing an injury-prone player might be in your midst. It might be in your hands with Christian McCaffrey. Now, when he's on the field, he's dynamic, and I feel like he really helps Sam Darnold. A lot of it is on Adam Gase because if you look at Adam Gase's track record, wherever he went, the year that he left, the next year those quarterbacks or those teams succeeded. I believe one of y'all sent that in the group chat. But I also do believe that Christian McCaffrey is a weapon that he never had in New York. Is a weapon that most people wish they could have. He just has to stay healthy. And when Christian McCaffrey went down, the rest of the game, I seen the highlights. Sam Darnold didn't look the same. He looked good. I mean, because it's the Texans. But when you play an elite competition, I don't think that Sam Darnold will be able to do much without Christian McCaffrey. Now, they can still win games because their defense is elite, and they still have great, not great, but really good receivers on the outside. He has more talent than the Jets, so of course they will win games. But with Christian McCaffrey, this is a playoff contender team. But without him, they could just compete.
Sure, you said that Christian McCaffrey is a weapon that the Jets wish that they had. Shoot, he's a weapon the Panthers wish they had too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying the hamstring is really over. He got injury
don't
from
say overrated.
It's overworked. I'm saying
Oh, boy.
he got hurt from overworking his legs. Is what I'm saying.
Did he? He just
Yeah.
missed the whole season.
I'm saying though, he pulled the hamstring off the bone, so that's from overworking.
I mean, they did just play Sunday.
They did.
Yeah, I guess.
Thursday night games ruined the season, but
I like it. It gives you something to watch.
yes, as a fan, but
Did you really care about this game?
Nah.
Your
you
life
didn't even watch it. I guarantee you didn't watch it.
Nah, I didn't know it was on.
Exactly.
But
You didn't know it was on. Come on, bro. You didn't know it was on. Just say you didn't want to watch it.
I didn't know it was on after the fact, for real.
so this is the first season they do a Thursday night game.
No, it wasn't
That
an
man
interesting matchup.
That man
That's
said,
why it's forgettable.
I'm a dad now. I forget what days of the week it is. I got you. Just say that.
I mean, there's other reasons why I forget too. But we're not gonna speak of that. And never mind.
Anyway, we're gonna move on to Ben Simmons. I think you put this on here.
I feel like
what new has happened since
nothing.
Actually, today, Ramona Sherburne had reported that Ben Simmons turned down a meeting of his teammates to meet with him in L.A. He told him he was done.
That's new.
It shows the efforts that they're trying to get back. I guess.
new.
I know.
You mad at the what do you call that? The franchise because you wouldn't shoot, bro? We watched.
I think that's a little. Yeah, you could take accountability and you could say that, but a lot of the people on the team didn't perform. It wasn't just Ben Simmons. Yeah, Ben Simmons didn't take that shot, whoop to whoop, but it was a lot of situations that Joel Embiid missed, Tobias Harris missed, Steph Curry missed, the whole team missed, Doc Rivers missed. So I think it's like
I take missing over not
when
shooting.
when your best player and your coach go and you kind of like dog them out after the game, and then the fans already gave up on you, and you already know what Philadelphia is about. They're already dogging you out. Now they see how much you work just to trade you. You don't want to be there, and they don't want you there. You just coming back for them to use you to trade you anyway. Why would I want to come back? Trade me. It doesn't matter. I don't care about my trade value. Yes, I know I messed up, but people know I'm a 3-time All-Star. I'm 25 years old. I can do everything on this court.
Except shoot.
Except shoot. But at the same time, you put me around a team that, actually I can fit around and let me be like a Giannis, a LeBron type player. I could fit well with that. Or maybe if y'all actually go back to the earlier years where the ball was going through me and Joel Embiid, and y'all wasn't just catering to Joel Embiid and then let me kind of lose my way, can't just put all the blame on Ben Simmons. I feel like this just a lot of Ben Simmons hate now because that's just the wave, but it's just the Sixers messed up just as much.
Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid never ran from the big moment. That's my personal thing, Wham, bro. You had 2 shots in the fourth quarter. Like, at this point, if I was a fan of Philadelphia, we don't want you. Bye. Like,
And that's cool.
Right.
And he's like, I'm out too.
Fine.
And then he's telling you he don't care where he goes. He just don't want to be in Philly. You could trade him to Cleveland. Like, it doesn't matter. He's telling you he just don't want to be in Philly. So I think at this point, Daryl Morey trying to get more, which, he should, because Ben Simmons is an elite player. But at the same time, it's like, you got to get what you can. He's not going to play for you. And the money, everybody keep talking about money. These people rich. He's not missing that. He got endorsements. This man can go move to Australia, go back to Australia for a year or so. Probably make more money over there.
I think we overuse this word elite. You can't be elite and be scared of the moment. That's my thing.
You can be elite at other things.
Yeah, I think you could be an elite player, but it is levels to everything like that.
I agree.
Like,
I mean, I don't think he's elite. I was just trying to help the
him
argument.
being to me, him being scared of the moment is what takes him from being elite.
Agreed.
However many times.
I mean, I don't think he's an elite overall player, but people, not myself, but people will argue that he's an elite defender.
he is.
Like Kevin.
But that's just the facts. The numbers show that.
You know how no matter how many shots Trae Young misses, and at the end of the game, if the open shot is there, he gonna pull it.
Okay, we forget, like how Jordan say sometimes they young and stuff. This is his what? Fifth year?
No.
That has nothing to do with
It
you.
does, because it's like.
See, I stopped saying you're young after like your third season.
And then, like I said,
He came in at like 19.
Like, he can't even get that's something mentally. That's a mental aspect of his game, because we seen Ben Simmons shoot before. So it's like, it's a mental thing in his game. So I can't really.
Like, once you go on your second contract, you're not young anymore.
Exactly.
I can't really speak on that, because that's something in his mind. That's not because of his lack of skill. We know. I believe he could do it. I seen him do it.
We do. We see it
like
out
that.
every offseason. He does the same thing.
And I do feel like them catering to Joel Embiid, and kind of like they was trying to trade him before the season, like before last season. So there's a lot of things that's going on into that, like how we talked about Kyle Kuzma and how that can mentally mess you up and that could mess with your performance and stuff. Yes, Ben Simmons on another level than Kyle Kuzma, so he went out there and he performed at an all-star level. But when it got to the pressure moment, a lot of that got to him.
Think about this, though. Ben Simmons has been in Philadelphia his whole career. When he came into the league, it was on his scouting report, he can't shoot. He's on his second contract now. He still hasn't developed a jump shot. So, I mean, you got to kind of.
Hey, like I said, Markelle Fultz was in Philadelphia, and they said he couldn't shoot, and he was messed up. He got out of Philadelphia.
Yeah, but he was in like his second, third year now.
I mean, he got out of Philadelphia. Let him get out of Philadelphia.
But how do we know that he wouldn't have developed that jump shot there in more than 2 or 3 years?
I don't think he would have did it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking.
I doubt it.
All right. But, I mean, I feel like they're both to blame. I feel like if you had to put more blame on one, you would probably put more on Philadelphia. But Ben Simmons is definitely not free of his blame. He definitely did run away from the last shot. He definitely has been sabotaging this team for years with terrible play in the playoffs. And I feel like that the way that they're currently constructed, they're not going to win. I'm not as far to say that he'll win anywhere else, but I feel like he'll be a better player on a different team. And I feel like Philadelphia definitely messed this up. Probably 2-3 years ago, when the world realized that this wasn't going to work and they didn't want to move on, but they definitely messed it up at the beginning of last year, when they were very public about trying to get James Harden, knowing that they were trying to send Ben Simmons, knowing that that's just going to make him upset. Basically the same thing that happened when they were trying to trade Brandon Ingram and Josh Hart and them. When after the All-Star break, they played like trash because they knew they was getting traded. So Doc definitely didn't help when he said what he said after the post game interview. Basically, I look at it like this: like, if they asked Ben Simmons, "How do you think you can win a championship with a coach who has the most blown 3-1 leads in playoff history and the most double-digit like having the most 2-game leads in a series, losing the most series. Do you feel like you can win that way? And he said no. How would Doc Rivers feel? He would want him out. So, I mean, I get it. I feel like it was more on the organization, but Ben Simmons definitely got to hold this L. Like you're not the victim, bro. They definitely they did you wrong, but you definitely pushed them to that point.
That's all I was trying to say.
He might have, but at the end of the day, I don't think he's wrong for not wanting to play with him.
No, nobody's saying that.
That's the narrative out there. He's selfish and stuff like that, and it's all his fault and stuff like that. And
I mean, that's
a lot of his fault.
I just think that inaccurate. If
the point guard, most of the blame is going to you. So yes, it is mostly his fault, but I won't say it's all his fault. Joel Embiid definitely had 8 turnovers. He definitely was the reason why they blew that up. Well, I won't say the reason because Ben Simmons was getting hacked in that game. But the first game that they blew the lead, when y'all went to the watch party, he definitely had a lot of turnovers in that game.
He did.
But they all look bad. And I also felt like Tobias Harris wasn't assertive.
I mean, well, Tobias Harris, I don't know why y'all keep trying to hype him up, but he's not good. So,
just felt like
he's not great. He's
good in spurts.
I just felt like he went out there and
he's like a worse. He's a little bit worse than Chris Middleton.
A little bit worse. I don't think he. Yeah, a little bit worse than Chris Middleton.
I hate
but
both of y'all.
Like he just went out there and got 20. Yeah. It's like an MP.
He'll have
like
one
Andrew
really,
Wiggins.
really, really good game.
Yes.
And then you forget he's on the team.
But he do enough so you can say, "Oh, it's really not my fault." But when you get paid $100 million and they looking at you as one of those pieces, he got to.
See, but I kind of blame Ben Simmons for why Tobias Harris is why he is, because he's really a third scoring option. But he has to play as the second because you can't depend on Ben Simmons to be the second scoring option.
Anyway, we're going to move on to the Week 3 college football preview. My favorite part. First up, we're gonna rapid fire through these because not really too much we can say. That's why it's called a preview. First up, we got Iowa State and Baylor. I don't really care about the Big 12 at all. Oklahoma you'll see in a minute. But I'm gonna go with Iowa State here. No particular reason. I like the dude from QB1. That's the reason I'm picking them. So.
Yeah, I think Iowa State gonna play Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. That's why I picked Iowa State. I feel like I know they lost the game. I can't remember who they lost to, but
Iowa.
Oh yeah, so they're not even in the Big 12, so that doesn't really hurt them.
I'm going with Iowa State. Better team.
Next up, we got Oklahoma and West Virginia. This is upset alert here. I'm going with West Virginia. Shout out to Pat McAfee. He is the reason I watched the West Virginia game or the highlights last week. But I'm going West Virginia here. Upset alert.
I'm gonna go Oklahoma. I don't know. I haven't watched either one of these teams.
West Virginia beat some. It was an upset. They won last week at home.
Yeah, I think they only got one loss or something like that. But yeah, I mean I haven't watched either one of these teams. I don't know enough about them. I just know. I mean I can see them losing because Spencer Rattler isn't as good.
Mid
he's not as good as what people are claiming he is. But yeah, so I'm gonna go Oklahoma, but I'm not confident.
I'm going. Why do I always keep forgetting the teams before we speak?
I can tell you why.
West Virginia. West Virginia. I'm going West Virginia. Oklahoma haven't looked impressive the first 2 weeks of the season. Their defense is the reason why I feel like they're going to lose this game.
Yeah,
it's going to be a shootout around like 45, 52, 55-ish. But I think West Virginia going to win this game. Oklahoma has to impress me on the defensive end. They have to get better.
Same. We talk about this. It's always the same. You could make that take last year, the year before, and it's always the same thing with Oklahoma. But yeah. Next up, we got North Carolina State and Clemson. I'm gonna go Clemson here. I think this is another one of those games they squeak out. They find a way to win. They always seem to do it. So, North Carolina finds a way to lose it late. Who y'all got here? Joey.
I'm gonna go North Carolina State. I feel like Clemson hasn't been looking good, and they always struggle with North Carolina State. Mm-hmm. So
I give you that. That's fair.
It's 7-7 with 11:23 in the first half.
Yeah. North Carolina State finds a way to lose it late.
I'm gonna go with Clemson. This is gonna be Clemson. I feel like every game is gonna be a dogfight. Every game they're gonna have to struggle because I do not believe DJ is a good quarterback, and I've been saying this for a minute. And it reminds me back when they had the transfer from Missouri, Kelly Bryant. When he came in, I was like, this guy not it.
Well, he transferred to Missouri.
Okay,
but that's the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
was like, this guy not it. This guy not it. End up being not it. And I said the same thing about DJ, and it's showing. I don't think he can put points on the board. I don't think he can really push the ball downfield or anything, and he turns the ball over. And
it's also
tiptoe in the pocket.
It's also week 3, so I mean,
he also showed him last year against Notre Dame. He had some time in. I see.
Yeah, I mean, I give you. Yeah, you got fair. Your assessment is fair, but also we basing it off of Trevor Lawrence, who came in and was a starter from day one and looked like. Yeah, I don't know if he won the Heisman.
Hey man, I don't want to hear it. You know what happens?
I'm agreeing with you. He hasn't looked great, but give him some time to develop. We're gonna come back to this. What's the name of our segment when we come back to it? Let's try this again. We're going to come back to it at the end of the season once Clemson runs the table because they play in the ACC.
Not playing the way they've been playing. They almost lost to Georgia Tech last week.
Hey, man. They almost always lose every year. And
yeah, that's why I got them losing today.
Yeah, you can't do that the whole season, especially with a quarterback who can't get the ball in the end zone.
And I agree.
Which is why I still feel like they might end up losing to Miami.
We'll see.
I can't wait till that one.
That'll be a good one. Because they both suck.
Did Miami? How we gonna do that if they don't even make it?
I don't think they was.
They not. But if they don't even make it, what we gonna do then?
Not coming back to it.
Nah, we coming back to it.
Anyway, next up we got Florida and Tennessee. If y'all are unaware, we went to the Florida and Alabama game last week.
Go Gators.
And my aunt used to do this when they were talking about Auburn, which you'll never hear me say. But anytime Florida's not playing Alabama, I'm going for Florida. Only because that song they play between the third and the fourth, the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter.
I Won't Back Down by Tom Petty.
Yes, sir. It's lit.
Shout out to College Game Day.
That's George. That's their swag surfing. If you go to the Hawks game between the third and the fourth quarter, they play swag surfing. But I said all that to say Tennessee sucks. They always gonna suck. Nah, Florida by 10.
Yeah. Oregon also does shout. I want to see that. That thing.
Hey,
the video was fire on.
We gotta go at the beginning of the year because who was trying to go to Oregon in December?
Yeah, that's gonna be cold.
I went to this game. What year was that? 2010.
It was 22. Yeah, 2010.
Yeah,
but it was in Tennessee.
Yeah, it was in Tennessee. Great game. Great atmosphere. Great atmosphere.
The SEC got some. Hey man, we gotta go. Where haven't we been yet? We haven't been to Texas A&M, Missouri,
Arkansas. I'm really trying to go to this Mississippi State game.
And Mississippi State, but everywhere else I think we've been to in the SEC. We haven't been to a South Carolina game. We've seen their stadium.
Yeah. But yeah, Shout out to the what is it called? They're not boosters. You know, like when the greeters, I guess.
Yeah.
For lack of better word. For lack of better words.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, shout out to them. They were nice.
Mm-hmm. They was
Very,
like, we're going
very
to handpick the baddest chicks that go to school here, and y'all going to come greet these incoming freshmen.
Okay.
Every school has their variation of it, but shout out to the one from Tennessee. We got no one black girl.
Okay.
You know how we feel about black women on this show.
I don't know how they did it, but they just knew.
Good.
They need a black family.
Yes, sir.
But yes, I said all that to say that atmosphere was fun, but Florida won. And
Go
then
Gators.
I want to go to this game one year in Tennessee. I mean in Florida, but it's not gonna happen this year, obviously. So I'm gonna go with Florida.
I'm gonna go with Florida too. I think we're gonna bounce back hard from this L we took last week. It was a great start. I think we learned a few lessons. Hopefully, Dan Mullen can instill some valuable lessons into what happened from last week, and this can catapult our season into something big. Starting with Tennessee. Tennessee is not on our level, but this is a rivalry game. This is at home, so the momentum is in our hands. So I expect us to win by 17.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of y'all didn't see the text message I just read. Speaking of Texas A&M, they're currently losing 17-0 to Arky. Shout out to Arkansas. What funny man call them bacon strips. They've graduated.
Are they really bacon strips? They beat Texas.
They moved up from bacon bits.
For beating Texas?
And now they up 17-0 on Texas A&M. They just run the state of Texas. We are Texas state champs or whatever Florida teams be celebrating. Anyway, obviously, I'm still going with Arky. I want them to come in the Bryant Denny and think they got a chance. Just like Mississippi State did that one year when Dak was the quarterback. So, who y'all got here? Texas A&M or Arky?
I had Arkansas going into this game. I respect them a lot more than Kevin does, and I plan on going to this game as well. One, because I feel like it's going to be a night game, and two, it's extremely cheap, and three, because I like Arkansas. I don't know. I guess the Darren McFadden and Felix Jones times. I didn't even know that Peyton Hillis was there too, but
he was.
Yeah.
Shout out to Peyton Hillis.
But
number 4.
yeah, and then they had Ryan Mallett, and they had another dude. He didn't really make it to the league, but he was really good in college. I can't remember his name, but
then his brother came. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't.
I think his brother is the quarterback now.
Maybe.
No, Darren McFadden?
No.
No, he's
No, they had a quarterback after
Ryan Mallett.
Ryan Mallett. I can't remember his name, but
and now
Yeah,
his
he was
younger
really
brother
good.
is the quarterback.
But yeah, I like Arkansas. They've always been a good team, even though like their record doesn't always show it. They always play LSU well, even when LSU had good teams. But I mean, they play in the SEC West, kind of hard to compete. They're like Vanderbilt, but like a much better team on the field. Like you kind of get lost in the sauce with all those other teams.
Bro, Jordan said, Arkansas got the same color as Alabama. I like them boys.
I had Texas A&M winning this game, but Arky's surprising me. I still don't believe in them. Still feel like they're gonna get blown out next week. So, all this means absolutely nothing.
I don't know if they're gonna get blown out. I don't think Georgia's defense is good as advertised. They haven't really played anybody. We'll see.
I think Georgia's defense is a strong point of their team.
I didn't say it wasn't the strong point of their team. I'm just saying that they're not as good as advertised.
I give you that. That's always what it is with Georgia.
Yeah. Also, I'm just trying to figure out what year Jimbo was talking about they were going to beat our ass in, because it's definitely not going to be this year.
He said that.
they gave up. Their defense is trash, and we know they don't have an offense. They gave up a touchdown for 85 yards and 48 yards.
Y'all suck.
That's not gonna cut it, big dog. Yeah, I gotta compete with Arkansas. If you think you're gonna compete with us,
You gotta beat Arkansas.
so confused. I mean, you gotta compete with them to compete with us.
These are facts.
Like, if you can't even compete with them, let alone beat them, like you're getting blown out right now. This is much worse than 17-0.
Guaranteed.
Like, so I'm confused. Texas A&M is overrated as always. But yeah, this next week, that Georgia Arkansas game gonna be interesting. I wonder where it is. Where is it?
Huh?
Where's that Georgia Arkansas game?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Hey Siri, where does Georgia and Arkansas play next week? Oh, my phone's on vibrate.
I believe. Fact check.
Hey Siri, what time
I got
does Georgia and Arkansas play?
They play. Oh, they play in Georgia.
I didn't get that.
Good job.
Try again.
My Siri
Athens.
sucks.
Athens is only like an hour and a half.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's not.
What
Got
y'all
y'all
trying to
do.
do? Stay tuned. But yeah, what you got, Kevin?
Well, I said I had Texas A&M.
You did.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna move on next to Wisconsin and Notre Dame. They both suck. I don't really. Again, don't. I hope that Wisconsin loses another game, so we ain't got to hear about this, bro. Because they've already lost one game. I hope they lose to somebody else on their schedule, so we don't have to hear about the Big Ten gonna be this, and this. They gonna have one shot at one team like they always do, Ohio State. So
Did you know that they lost 41-13?
who
Wisconsin.
today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I did know that. They
I
suck.
did not know that.
They
I
suck.
literally did.
The game went exactly how I thought it would go.
Why is Wisconsin 1-2? Why are we talking about them? Why are they 18?
You put this on here.
Yeah, because the media was hyping this up like it was gonna be a good game.
It's
It was.
Wisconsin. They do this for
They was
every-
struggling. It was 3. They was 3-3 when we left in
Nah,
the
they
second.
was actually up in the fourth quarter. They did exactly what I thought the game would happen. They both
Wait.
played like trash, and then they let the game
Wait.
go and like
Wisconsin was up in the fourth quarter.
Yes, they was winning 13-10. Then Buddy took a kickoff return back. Then they had 2 back-to-back pick sixes. Then they scored on top of that. Said, "Get out of here."
Yeah, no. Wisconsin, just go ahead and just end your program. This is ridiculous.
That was
Yeah.
13-10.
I mean, I would have picked Notre Dame just because I felt like they would have struggled into a win, but I didn't know they was gonna do that.
They gave the game to them.
All right. Before we move on from college football, I got to shout out Jackson State. They're currently up 17-0 with 12 minutes left in the third quarter. Yeah. Y'all still don't believe in them boys? I do. I believe. Next up, we got Genius and BS. What did we say? Oh, Matt Nagy said that Andy Dalton is his starter once he comes back. Yeah, all right. We'll see what Justin Fields does Sunday. If he balls against Cleveland, we ain't got nothing to say. No. That was some BS. We all know what it is, bro. Nobody is stupid. He said it before the game because he wanted Andy Dalton, and we got faith in our quarterback. He's saying all the right things, but we'll see how you feel on Monday. But how y'all feel about what Matt Nagy said?
I mean, it's both, but I feel like it's BS. I get why he's saying it. You got to do it for the locker room, yada, yada, yada. But, I mean, that's stupid. Like, if he goes out there and balls out, and then say if Andy Dalton comes back in like 5 weeks, Justin Fields goes 5-0, 4-1, balls out every game, you still taking him out? That don't make sense. Like, you're really just painting yourself in a box, and you're showing your hand that is really not a competition. Like, you really just gave Andy Dalton a job. You really just telling on yourself at this point.
I'm gonna say it's BS. I think like being BS with a slight of genius because it's something you have to say. Andy Dalton is fresh off this injury. Justin Fields is getting his first start. This was Andy Dalton's job, so I think the coach have to say this is Andy Dalton's job. You know, to give some reassurance to Andy Dalton and give some little motivation to Justin Fields to go out there. If Justin Fields go out there and ball out, of course they're gonna be like Andy Dalton. He's still recovering. They're gonna give him an extra week, and Justin Fields is gonna be the starter. If Justin Fields go out and ball again, Andy Dalton needed one more week. You know, he needed to rest up. He's fully to go, but we still taking our time with him. And then if he ball out from there at week 4, that 4th weekend, he's the starter for the rest of the season. They're gonna be like, there's no reason to play Andy Dalton, and then he got the hot hand. But you know, he go out there and he doesn't ball, then it gives more reason for Andy Dalton to get back in there. It just gives Matt Nagy that little room to play with. He can do it this week because this is Justin Fields' game to prove it that he's gonna be the starter, or to prove that, you know, he can pull that card and be like, Andy Dalton's finna get back in. You feel me? So I think it's a little bit of both.
It ain't gonna be like Tony Romo. We gonna remember Andy Dalton the same way we remember Tony Romo. Crazy. I talked about this earlier. Not Matt Gase, Adam Gase. He ruins players. We've seen Sam Dalton look much better. Granted, it's 2 weeks into the season. Calm down, everybody. But he's looked 3 weeks for him because this is his 3rd game. But yeah, Adam Gase sucks. I don't know how he's still the coach. Like, I don't get it. But whatever. That's why everybody says the NFL is nothing but a recycle league. Everybody, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Yeah, but this is why some franchises continue to be where they are. But anyway, the question is, does Adam Gase ruin players? I think that's a genius take. How y'all feel about that?
It's genius. Adam Gase is terrible. I mean, let's not get it twisted. It's not like the Jets were just this great franchise, because you can see that, right? I keep wanting to call him Bryce Wilson. Zach Wilson isn't in the best situation, so he's not playing like as well as a lot of people expected him to play. But I mean, he's still playing much better, and Adam Gase doesn't help. Like, he was brought in to be the quarterback whisperer, and he's not whispering. Like, start talking, do something, help.
I think he can't read.
Okay, he definitely can't. But I got the stats. His high school, the first year after he left, they won the state championship. LSU, after he left, won the national championship. Peyton Manning, the year after he left, won the Super Bowl. Ryan Tannehill won Comeback Player of the Year in Tennessee, and Sam Darnold started 3-0. Now, again, it's 3-0. Let's calm down. But
His second 3-0 run in his career. So
Sam Darnold,
yeah, so
he started 3-0 with the Jets.
Yeah. No, 3-game win streak.
Oh, interesting. But yeah, I mean, it is 3 games. They haven't played anybody. Let's calm down. The jury's still out on the Saints. Give us like 3 weeks, and we'll tell you if the Saints is a quality win or not. But it's impressive nonetheless, and you can chalk that up too. It's not a coincidence.
Nova doesn't believe in coincidences for what it's worth.
I agree. I don't have nothing to say.
That worked. Lastly, before we move on for genius and BS, we got to talk about Peyton and Eli on Monday Night Football. I like it. I personally, I know a lot of people who hate the announcers, i.e. my brother, It don't matter what channel the game on. He hates all announcers. Everybody just watch the game in silence. We watching film basically. But I'm just saying, bro, y'all put John Gruden on Monday Night Football for however long he was on there. And so I think y'all should, and whoever is announcing the games now, move them to ESPN too and put Peyton and Eli and let them have their guests. Because most people not watching the whole game anyway, especially if it's a blowout. So, I mean, I like it. I said all that to say I like it. Genius.
I mean, I don't feel like it's either, but I guess genius for some people. But I mean, I don't really care. I'm not really watching the game to hear what Peyton and Eli are saying. Like, that's not why I'm watching. I'm watching to see what the people on my fantasy team are doing. I'll be watching because it's the Cowboys and the Eagles.
It is.
But I mean, I'll watch that one just because it's something different. I've seen bits and pieces, but I haven't seen anything that's made me want to watch the whole game. Granted, it's been 2 boring games that I didn't really care about. The Ravens and the Raiders was cool, but I wasn't really interested in the Raiders. And then what was the Lions and the Packers? No, we were recording the episode at that time. Nah, I mean, I guess I watch it, but if they start talking too much, I'm gonna just go ahead and switch to the other one. I'm not gonna lie. I get annoyed very easily. I start talking about, like, if you're not talking about the game, which in the few times that I've watched, they don't really talk about the game. I can barely hear the TV. So, like, if it's hard to follow the game, I'm just going to change the channel.
You know what's funny? I wasn't even talking about this, brother. But, yes.
I think it's cool. It's nice to see Peyton out expressing himself. I think he's a funny dude. Eli Manning and him got a connection. Of course, they're brothers, so it's nice to see. But for me, I don't really pay attention to none of that. I really don't turn into the game until the game starts. So, and when the game do start, I probably have, like, Zion in the background playing around, like, or some music or something like that. I don't, or a YouTube video playing while the game playing. So I don't really be listening to the game anyway. So
yeah, I'm on the game or eating. Or listening to the Odd Couple.
Or the Braves game.
Or the Braves game. On a Monday night, yeah. Odds are I'm probably not watching. Sundays are the best to get me to actually watch a game. I'm not really watching if it's on a Monday. It's really just background noise at that.
it just depends on the team. And it's quiet if you're on your select team.
Hey, man. We're going to move on to our penalty kick segment. Another rapid fire segment for us. We had a discussion in our MVP group chat. I mean, not our MVP group chat, our baseball group chat. Whether or not Austin Riley should really be in the MVP running. I mean, yes, he's had the numbers, but we're talking about most valuable players. Sorry, I don't mean to steal everything you're finna say, but for the Braves, Adam Duvall has been the most valuable player for us. If you look at yesterday's game alone, we were losing 5-4 when the game was restarted. Adam Duvall, who wasn't on our team when this game was originally played on September 24th, he got traded to us on the 30th. He hit a home run last night to take the lead in a game he wasn't even a part of. Ever since he's been on our team, he has been the reason why we are in first place. Well, not the sole reason, but part of the offensive reason, majority of it. How y'all feel about who the baseball MVP should be?
I mean, I wasn't gonna bring up Adam Duvall. I was just talking.
He's a fact.
I mean, for the sake of that conversation, though, if we're doing strictly off of the definition of the word most valuable player, then yes, Adam Duvall is the most valuable player. Like, and it's not really close. I can't think of another team in the NL that has a player that was more valuable. The Giants are a team by committee. The Dodgers, yeah. I mean, most of their players have been hurt most of the season. The Padres, Tatis, but they fell off, and he was hurt for a large chunk of the season. Bryce Harper, but I mean, they're not even. I mean, they're fighting for a playoff spot. If they make it, yeah, you could give it to him, but it's not like he has just this amazing case. I feel like for me, it would be Austin Riley. If you look at the season that he had once Roy went out in July, from July on, I can't remember the exact stats. I forgot to write them down, but I know he was hitting like 350 batting average, and he had like 30-something RBIs and 20-something home runs. If I'm off, I'm not that far off. But it was in that range. I know the batting average was like 350 though. And he was the spark that, he wasn't the complete spark, but he was a flicker of the spark that we was missing when Roy went out. And he definitely helped us stay in the playoff hunt and eventually take the lead in the East. So for me, it would be Roy. I mean, not Roy. Austin Riley.
You said nobody. I know the MVP is by league, but I would say Shohei in the American League. But anyway.
Oh, I mean,
I know, because you said you couldn't think of another National League team. Then Shohei popped up in my head, but
I mean, how valuable is he to his team?
Home runs.
Y'all told me that baseball don't matter when it comes to, baseball wins and losses doesn't matter when it comes to that stuff.
It doesn't.
So,
it doesn't when
if that's the case, then Ohtani is the MVP.
It doesn't if there's nobody else in the consideration. But if it's people that are doing both and are in the playoffs, then you have to take that into consideration.
Times Mike Trout won MVPs, there was nobody in playoff consideration that was
I don't
MVP?
know. Can you give me the list? I can if.
I'm asking you. You
brought it up, so you were saying it as if you had people that were there. So the burden of proof is on you.
No, I'm asking you.
The burden of proof is on you. You're saying it as if that there were people that were more deserving of it. So then it's on you to prove those people that were more deserving.
No, I was asking for one.
I don't know.
And two, I was saying like it's hard to believe that, and it's hard to believe that nobody was in the playoff because
but we're talking about now. Like, we're literally talking about.
It's the same thing, though, to me. It's the exact same thing.
I mean, it could be if we knew the people that they were running up against, then it would be more of an argument. But since we don't know, we can only deal on what we know. And what we know now is there are people with comparable numbers that are leading their teams to the playoffs. If it was people that were not in the playoffs, like if neither one of them were in the playoffs, they wouldn't be.
But one's a pitcher, and everybody else are position players.
Okay.
You saying
cool? Give him the Cy Young.
Yes, he can win both. Justin Verlander did it. I mean, why he can't? This man went out there and hit 42.
Because he's not the most valuable player. Vladimir Guerrero is more valuable to his team than Shohei Ohtani
this seems
is.
to happen in every sport. We lose the. What does the MVP mean? Is it the numbers?
His numbers are better. Vlad's numbers are better.
I mean, he also get more. I don't know. I think when you look at from Ohtani and his position and the circumstances that he went,
bro, we're not doing this. Ain't no narrative, bro.
That's how they. We're
not giving Babe. We're not giving Babe Ruth no retroactive MVP, bro.
Bro, this is what they do in NFL.
If we,
NBA,
we want to give him the Shohei Ohtani Award. We want to give it to the best dual threat athlete in baseball. We can make
that's
an award.
What they're gonna do.
I know that's what we're gonna do. I'm telling you what should happen.
I'm not talking about.
We're not talking. We're talking about who should win.
This is exactly what you told me when I was making the same case. I forgot who I was making the same case, but you was like
LeBron and Giannis.
Yes, you was like.
Yes, I get it. But now we switching sides.
I'm dead.
I want to be the person that's talking about who should win.
Right.
Because that's what the question was.
Hippocrates, Andrew Schultz had, boy.
I'm dead.
No, I'm just answering the question. The question was, who would y'all vote for MVP?
Again, Andrew Schultz asked. That nigga said one day, this is what I believe. Nah, not no more.
That's
I
not the
feel
case.
like a MVP is someone who can go out there and average a 2 something ERA, with leading the league in home runs. I feel like that's an MVP.
Yeah, I guess.
worthy.
But if it's people that are doing historic, I mean, I get it. He's not.
That's
on,
historic.
He's not doing. He's not hitting for a triple crown, but he's on a triple crown pace. Like he definitely is right there.
When's the
for a
last
triple-
time?
If he was hitting for a triple crown, then he'd be the consideration would be higher, but he's not. So.
I mean, but he was literally leading in everything, and nobody still was talking about him.
I mean, well, yeah, we're gonna move on to Andrew Wiggins. I don't really know what Andrew Wiggins said. I don't even. What? Why is Andrew Wiggins on here? I'm confused.
He didn't get cleared for the exemption.
In San Francisco, they have mandated that anybody that plays in more than 10 gatherings all have to be vaccinated or they can't play. Andrew Wiggins is not vaccinated. He said he's not trying to get vaccinated unless he really have to. But then he tried to have a religious relief act bill signed and passed by the NBA, which they denied, which is unfair and unjust. But that's a conversation for a different day. Can't really dismiss somebody's beliefs because that's what you feel is the best. Like that's but.
I'm so sick of this vaccine shit.
So now, yeah,
I don't lie to you.
he's at a point where he has to be vaccinated or he won't be able to play home games for the Golden State Warriors, and it's unfortunate. I feel like that's very unfair.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but
I mean, I get it. Business is business.
right. I mean, it's not a right to work to play in the NBA. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the laws work out in California, but in Georgia, Georgia is a right to work state, so they can fire you for any reason.
Yeah.
Like they don't even have to have a reason. So I don't know how it work out there in Cali, but
I mean, I get it, but that's all just messed up to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially
I agree with you
when it comes to like people getting into that profession, and now your career, your life has been altered because of a decision that they're trying to make you, force you to do, and then at the same time try to tell you that this is not what they're trying to force you to do, and we're not trying to make you do anything you don't want to do. But if you don't do this, hey, look, you lose everything. Why? I don't know. Because
my whole thing
instead of waiting 10, 14 days, you can wait 5 days. You might miss a couple of games. You might miss it. Even if you get the shot, you still might be at a risk to miss a critical point in the season or a critical time.
that happened to Chris Paul last year.
Exactly. So I think it's highly unfair to just, treat unvaccinated players like they got the cooties or something when vaccinated people can still conceive the disease and everything. So the only thing this thing doesn't do is apparently keep you from dying or experiencing worse symptoms. So if that's the case, what do that have to do with anybody being vaccinated and unvaccinated? Like if I'm unvaccinated and I'm 11 times higher to die from it than a vaccinated player, what does that have to do with anything? That just means if I get it, I might die.
Right.
That don't have anything to do with the court of or anybody playing, because why? Everybody can spread it. Still, it doesn't matter. Am I talking crazy?
The thing with me is, it's so many. You have different answers from different people, and think about it. Like when you a kid, to go to public school, you have to be vaccinated.
Yep.
You have to go get certain vaccines. So I don't understand how people can argue. Well, I'm anti-vax. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do your research, but don't say I'm not getting it when you send your kids to school to get vaccines without a second thought. But
I did it.
Right. I'm not saying you in particular, but people send their kids every day to go to public school, and they have to be vaccinated for that. I'm not even talking about coronavirus. You gotta have vaccine for chickenpox. You know what I'm saying? Like these kids will never get chickenpox. I think the generation right before us was the last one to get chickenpox, because I never got it either. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we're gonna move on to the Drake and Michael Jackson conversation. Bruh, but people really saying this, that Drake is better than Michael Jackson? Y'all realize Michael Jackson had top 10 albums in 5 different decades, bro. What do you, like, come on, bro. This that recency bias, bro. Yes, Michael Jackson is dead and will never make any more hits. But, come on, bro. Y'all wildin', bro. Really? Really, nigga? Yeah, I said it. But how y'all feel?
Why?
Had that. Anyway, how y'all feel about Drake and Michael Jackson?
I mean, they're both. I mean, I get the comparison, but I don't feel like Drake is this generation's Michael Jackson. Every generation doesn't need another person's generation. Like, you can just say
Drake is Drake.
Right. Like, it's not that serious.
How you feel about this, Kevin?
No, I don't think Drake has surpassed Michael Jackson in like the entertainment aspect of like performing and stuff like that. But I do feel like we need to start making everybody feel like they're so untouchable. Drake is definitely in the conversation. The numbers speak for itself. Drake has been in the game for 11, 12 years now, and he has, like, Nothing Was the Same came out 8 years ago, and it's been in the Billboard 200 since then. He has, a lot of hits. His numbers are up there, surpassing Michael Jackson in some aspects, surpassing the Beatles in some aspects. So do I feel like he's better overall than Michael Jackson? No, because Michael Jackson is dancing, and he had the look. He was really he can really sing. You know what I'm saying?
I think because his career spanned longer, Drake hasn't been in the game long enough, basically.
Yes,
Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was singing when he was Zion age. So
yeah, Jackson 5.
Right.
But see, that's what I'm saying. So that's even more credit to Drake, because look how much he did in the amount of time. Like, 10 years, 11 years is long for rappers and stuff like that, because they usually fall off within 3 years and stuff like that. So and then you would dominate. You've been the number one guy for like the past 8 years. You basically LeBronin for real.
Right.
So like, and then you get to Michael Jackson and past the Beatles in that time, and they was doing it for 20, 30 years. Like that, that's
it's kind of, but you gotta think about it. It's different than how. It's kind of like the argument we have with generations between basketball. Back then, you had to actually like pay and go to a concert, or you had to pay for an album to hear it.
Yeah, but I mean, I still respect that, but I gotta respect the way it is now, because you know how hard it is to get mofos to actually sit there and stream your stuff.
Yes,
you know how hard. It's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's possible, it's doable. You got to put a lot of work into this. So for Drake to have the whole world stream his stuff 1 billion times, just like that, repetitively, all his stuff, like he could drop new stuff, his old stuff, anything in between, like that's dominance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you deserve to be in that conversation with him. I don't feel like Michael Jackson's way untouchable, because it's not. He's not. There's other aspects of things. Like, I feel like Prince is, often disrespected, but definitely supposed to be in that discussion with Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't understand how he's not.
Based off of someone being able to control the band, play the instruments, write the music and stuff, other stuff that Michael Jackson may have lacked. You know what I'm saying? So
acting,
like
movies.
You know what I'm saying? So I say all of that to say Drake is definitely in that conversation.
That's fair. I get you that. And the last, our last penalty kick segment will be, the Clippers are getting a new home. It's gonna be called the Intuit Dome, like Intuit TurboTax.
Oh boy.
But yeah, they're basically just moving into the old form. They could have kept it called it form. Did you know that scene at the beginning of Space Jam when they were going somewhere? It was shot at the Forum. The part where they was like, Daffy Duck was, you know which part I'm talking about, when they were in L.A.
Yes, when they were going back to Looney World.
Yes, I'm like, man, I know he over here struggling. Let me look up. Let me help him out. But how y'all feel about the Clippers' new home?
It's cool. This is I mean, I don't really care. I'm probably never gonna go. I've never been to LA. I plan on going, but going to a Clippers game is not very high on my list.
Said I plan on going, just not there.
I mean, yeah, it's not that serious. I have more important things to do in LA than go to a Clippers game. I feel like
Let's see UCLA before I go see.
No cap. I go take the tour just to say I did it.
right. But I mean, it's cool. I don't really. It's not gonna change my life because you don't really see the difference in stadiums on 2K. That's really the only place I went getting to know the difference. Like in sports games, you can see that. Like with the Rangers, they got a new stadium. It's different. When the Raiders got a new stadium, it's different, but it's not different.
It's basketball,
Right? They all look the same.
Good for them.
He's a Lakers fan. I get it. But before we get out of here, of course, we got to pick the ending. It's called, well, this week's question is who has the best sports atmosphere? I don't really know how to answer this question directly, so I'm going to say the college football atmosphere is much better than the NFL. And it don't have anything to do with the band. I just think it's being on campus. I said this when I was younger, though. Like, when you're paying for your check, it's different than just school pride. Now, like, once I found out that players were getting paid under the table, that still doesn't change it. I still feel like the college atmosphere is much better than any NFL team. Even the states that don't have a major college team to root for, and their team is the NFL. Like, even when Philadelphia came here a couple years ago, it was still fun as an NFL game, but I still choose college games any day. I'll go to a Georgia game. Well, I ain't gonna say that. I'll go to a Georgia game before I go to a Jaguars game. How about that?
Yeah, I feel like college is hands down the most electric atmosphere. I feel like actually high school football is second.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll probably go in what's MLS. I go them third, then NFL fourth.
Having worked there, I would go college, MLS, high school, NFL.
I've never been to an MLS game, so I'm speaking off
telling
TV.
Bro, he be lit in there.
College football. It's hard. College football. Is high school football could be one?
Yes, I put them second.
Because high school football is different. High school sports in general is different. When school is actually piped up.
I was going to put basketball, but
I think high school sports.
I don't know if high school basketball is
I mean, not high school. College. College sports across the board are better than professional sports. I go to a college baseball game, and I prefer a college baseball game before a Braves game. Why? I mean, I guess
just because they use aluminum bats. I've never really been to a. I mean, Kennesaw State's games were okay.
I don't even think it makes that big of a difference though, because not until you get to like the end of the year when every team is good. Like I went to the Georgia Tech game a few years ago. It was low scoring, really no balls were hit in the air for real. I don't think it really makes a difference. It's not as big of a difference as people make it out to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would be willing to go to a college game.
I had to work it. So.
I say college, high school, college football, high school sports, NBA, NFL, and anything soccer. But in particular, World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to a World Cup game one day. You know, I don't care where it's at, baby. That'd be lit. That energy, you can feel it from the TV.
Well, that concludes another episode of your favorite podcast, not another sports podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon. Make sure you follow me on all those social media sites that Rob was there.
Kevin, excuse me. Long week. I'm Kevin. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Vice City Kevo. And look out for Hot Mama 2. I think it should be coming out October 3rd.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And this is Jordan. You can follow me on Twitter at @this_guy11, on Instagram at _thisguy11. Follow the sports pages on Facebook and Instagram at Not Another Sports Podcast, on Twitter at N_A_S_podcast. Follow us on all audio platforms by searching for Not Another Sports Podcast. That's it.
Don't add nothing in front of it.
Okay.
And with all that being said, we want y'all to be safe out here. Black Lives Matter. Wash your hands. Go Gators.
Roll Tide.
Roll
Make
Tide.
sure, don't forget, UnitedSpinal.org. Go learn you something you didn't know before about a spinal cord injury.
Lime green.
Yes, sir. Always. That way.